Welcome back. You're watching Neweye. We're talking to Brigadier Omar Hayat, the Chief of Staff for the IDP SSG group in Peshawar. He joins us live tonight to talk about a planned return for people to their homes. They've been living in camps or with host families, of course, for so long now. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people here, Brigadier Omar. It is going to be a huge operation. Could you describe to us perhaps how you envisage it to be carried out on a daily basis?
Right. Just to re-emphasize on the enormity of this operation, if you employ something like 2,000 trucks and buses a day, you are talking about sending home about 400 families only per day. And that's with 2,000 vehicles. Now imagine that there are over 2,500,000 families that have to be taken back. So that's the kind of numbers that we're talking about. What we envisage is for movement in packets where the provincial administration and the province identifies embussing points from places where IDP communities are located, and we place the transport there. We provide that transportation to the debussing points that have been identified by the local administration, which are based in the communities of origin. And from there, people get debussed. And as I said, 2,000 vehicles, 400 families a day. I don't think the road capacity is any bigger than this. So 250,000 people, that's a very big number.
It is indeed. And there is also a possibility, of course, of perhaps any kind of attacks on people as they try and return home, or even on the military. What's being done to safeguard people's planned return to ensure that they aren't attacked by militants?
There are a number of measures that are being discussed with the police and the frontier constabulary taking the lead in maybe picketing at different places, providing escorts to each convoy that's going back, with army giving some sort of aerial protection, and also providing picketing along the route through the army or through the frontier corps, and ensuring that no untoward incident happens during the move back of the IDPs.
Now, another huge issue that's been going on throughout this whole process of people fleeing their homes and living in camps is getting cash to them, dispersing cash amongst families. Much has been promised. What's being done to ensure everyone does have that cash, to ensure that they can reset up house and home?
Yeah. You'll be glad to know that the cash disbursement is going on very well. In fact, it's a huge success story. It's a best practice from Pakistan, which a lot of people have actually, a lot of international people have actually acknowledged. As of today, over 80,000 cards have already been distributed, and over ₹1 billion have already been dispersed. And what is most interesting to note is that there was a lot of talk initially of these people not being able to operate cash cards or debit cards. And out of the ₹1 billion that has already been dispersed, almost over 40% has gone through ATM transactions, and the remaining 60% has gone through point of sale. So it's a huge success story.
And tell us why it's been so successful. What's made it such a workable process?
It's been a workable process because I think the verification by NADRA has sorted out the numbers. It's taken out people who had registered at a number of places. So the number has actually become very legal, as I would say, and the disbursement is going on through a private bank. So it is all very much above board with no middlemen involved. And that's why I termed it as a best practice.
Okay, so looking into the future, we've talked about people from the Malakan division, Swat area, of course, and Bonaire returning home. But we're also seeing fighting in South Waziristan and even airstrikes now in North Waziristan. What's being done to accommodate the people who are now fleeing from that area?
Yeah, the situation of IDPs in the south of this province is entirely different from the situation of the Malakand IDPs. Whereas we set up camps, we set up food hubs, we set up different places for them in NWFP for the Malakand IDPs. For the North and South Waziristan IDPs, most of them have a second residence in either Dera Ismail Khan or Tank. And a lot of them who had actually come out last winter did not go back to their homes. The fresh caseload that has come in due to the recent law enforcement operations is also living with their relatives or in their second homes. And
the problem is, though,
the tribal culture that they come from, they do not want to live in camps.
The problem is, though, that Dera Ismail Khan and Dank themselves aren't exactly totally safe to stay in, and Dera Ismail Khan in particular. So how long can the government and the special support group from the military rely on the fact that these people will be able to stay with host families in these areas?
Right. As I said, most of them have their second homes in these areas. And if they don't, they are living with their own tribesmen. What we are doing is we're providing food support. A special support group already moved about 50 tons of food to Dera Ismail Khan. And what we're planning to do is, through the United Nations, establish a non-food item hub at Bhakkar, and also provide, the government is in the process of deciding to provide cash-based relief to these people so that they can go out in the market and buy whatever food stuff that they need.
Brigadier Omar Hayat, thank you so much for joining us live tonight from Peshawar.